that point.
Why would Mateus Reyes have confessed to doing it and doing it alone if that were not the case?
Because Mateus Reyes was in a segregated part of the prison. He was with rapists and child molesters. He had gotten kicked out because of his, because he had committed several violations in there. Now he was out in general population and vulnerable to attack. Kerry Weiss knew this. He had people threatening Reyes and telling him that he had better say that he did it by himself. And it really didn't matter at that point because the statute of limitations were up. There was no legal jeopardy for him to say that he had done it. In fact, what happened was, as a psychopath, and I got this from his psychologist, this worked in his favor. He was able to get attention as a result of coming forward to say that he did it by himself. He was looked at as a hero almost, in a perverse way.
Well, why Eric was only his DNA found in the jogger?
His DNA only was found in the jogger because, well, first of all, if you look at the videos, every one of the kids said the same thing. They were not able to perform sexually on the jogger, and they pretended to have sex with them because they did not want to look like a punk in front of the rest. And if you think about it, you have a bunch of 13 and 14-year-olds in the middle of Central Park, in the middle of the night, beating the life out of this woman that they don't know. And under those circumstances, would they be able to perform sexually? No. Who could perform sexually? The guy who raped his mother, the guy who was a serial rapist, the guy who raped, tortured, and killed a pregnant woman in front of her 2 children. That's the guy who is able to have sex and to complete the act in the middle of Central Park in front of everybody.
Let me return to a final question, the subject of whether those admissions captured on videotape were coerced. You weren't in those rooms, correct? So how could you know?
How could I know they weren't coerced?
Yes.
Well, first of all, you could hear everything that's going on. Okay? It's not as though the rooms are soundproof, number one. Number two, if you look at the pictures, if you watch the Netflix series, you'll see how each kid is getting slapped around, they're getting beaten up. At one point, a cop hits a kid in the face with a helmet several times. Now, every news organization in the nation was at the precincts when they were being brought out. If you look at those pictures, not one of them has a scratch on them. None of them. You can see
I'm
all
showing
5 of them
the mug shots. I'm showing the 5 mug shots right now to make the point that I think you're offering. Eric Reynolds,
Yes.
Thank you for being here. It's a complicated case and certainly not as clear as the television adaptation. That's what I would say.
You're correct. You're 100% correct.